Hello, 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 and welcome to the Rag Company Podcast. I'm Dane Hennen. To my right, Levi Gates.
Oh, yeah. What's going on?
And to my left, Anthony Fisher.
Hey.
And the Rag Company Podcast. Welcome aboard. We're going to have a good time. I look forward to this every single week. And this weekend, past weekend, was 4th of July. So there was fun stuff going on.
So much fun. Lots of excitement.
Do we want to just get into like how our weekends went?
Well,
or do we
think-
want to do some housekeeping? We got choices.
We're going to do some housekeeping.
Yeah.
I'm going to sweep some things. real
Oh,
quick.
I love it.
Dust
Love
a
it.
few things
Ooh,
off.
dusting.
Sweep
perhaps,
up. What you
right?
got?
You know, spray some things down.
I'm
so
going to put my mask on so that I don't get any of these.
Oh,
you
yeah,
guys
good
are gonna
point.
want to do that. I'm
myself
kidding, Dane.
clean.
You don't have to do
Well,
that.
you know, I might
Okay,
put my mask
that's
on just
fine.
in case.
All right, so you guys probably noticed Morgan is not here today, so she is out
We've
for
swept her
the
away.
weekend.
Oh.
Yes, we've swept her away. We've blown her into the wind. So basically, she is out doing a little trip, a little mini vacation thing is what she's got going on. So she'll be back here, I think, on Wednesday or
Yep.
something like
Yep.
that. So she's out of town. So it is just us here, but I want to go over some website stuff.
Okay.
Right? Some
All right.
stuff going on at
Pull my mask back on.
theragcody.com.
We're doing website stuff.
Yep.
So
Safe now.
by the time you're listening to this, I'm assuming the sale has probably ended. The sale is technically ending Monday, which is today.
Yeah.
When we're filming this. It ends at midnight. So we're hoping that everybody scored on the sale because there was a ton of great deals, right? We had some
blue-
kits made. We had
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff. And then Blue Bead Maker,
Yeah.
of course. And so the Blue Bead Maker truly was a limited batch run. We have no idea when and if this will ever be coming back. But I would highly suggest picking some up now.
Yeah,
And,
I'm sure there's going to be a few gallons
there will be a
left.
few gallons left.
As you're hearing this.
I checked in with John.
But be
We are
quick.
3/4 of the way sold
Perfect.
is where we're at right now. So let's in the last quarter can go pretty quick because what's going to happen is today, right? By the time you're probably listening to this, orders are starting to get delivered, right?
Yep.
People are actually getting their orders of Blue Bead Maker. So chances are they bought a gallon. They're like, "Ooh, I got my gallon in. Let me crack this thing open, get a whiff, give it a
I
couple
love the summer
sprays."
drink.
And then they're like, "Oh my God, this smells really good. I love this."
Yeah.
Or this looks really cool. I love this. I should go buy more.
Right.
You may not have that option, basically,
Correct.
is what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say. It might be completely gone. So if you have any indication that you might love that product, right, then I would highly suggest just getting on there right now and
Well,
buying
and it's
it.
and I mean, obviously the sale price was a good price.
Yeah.
But even the after sale price is still going to be a really great price.
it's like-
so it's worth
It's
buying.
Bead Maker. It's gonna be
it's
cost
Bead Maker.
effective no matter
It's going to
what.
go. It's going to be amazing. You're going to
Yeah.
love it. And this scent and this color is the summer drink blue version.
I
that
do
we've
love.
been calling it.
I keep seeing people comment and go, "What's it smell like? What's it smell
Yes.
like?" And they're dying to know. But at the same time, there's people who are literally holding off buying it. They want to buy it, but they're like, "I'm not buying it until I find out what it smells like."
So
you might miss out, bud.
I'm
You
going
might
to
miss
do
out.
my best to explain it right now
Yeah.
without telling you exactly what's in it because it's a proprietary.
It's an
Well,
Anthony Fisher proprietary blend.
Which didn't turn out great in the last few times.
You have a spotty
But,
track record when
but-
it comes to developing.
This is
scents.
redemption right
Well,
here. This
think
is
about
what
the
this
Wolos
is.
line. Anthony was very
Yeah.
very
Yes.
vocal and key to the development of the Wolos.
And I gotta say,
and a lot of people
awesome.
love those.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
now, yes, All Day Anthony Cologne was,
Mm-hmm.
still available. People can get their scents if they'd like.
yeah.
I don't know
just
why
put in
you
a
do that to
request.
yourself. But
But this is another one of those wins for the Anthony Fisher department.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. I appreciate it. So basically, the best way to describe it, and this is Katie, right? My wife. I had her smell it on Friday. I put it in a sprayer, took some home, and I said, "Hey, give me your unbiased opinion on
Right.
what this smells like, and tell me what you think it smells like, and if you actually like it, right?" So first, I had her smell the orange bead maker.
Okay.
I say, "Here's orange bead maker for reference." So she smells it and she says, "Okay, so it's like a tropical, like something like
for reference, it's mango.
yeah, like a mango scent, like a mango tropical, scent." And so she's like, "Yeah," she's like, "I already like this. I think it smells pretty good." So then I told her to open up the blue one. She smells it. She kind of looks at me, smells it again, sits back, and she's like, "This smells like a bomb pop." I'm like a bomb pop?
Like a
She's
rocket
like,
pop.
She's like, yeah, like a rocket pop. Yes, exactly.
Bomb
And so
pop. I've never
whatever the
heard
heck they're
that.
called, rocket pop,
Go
right?
get some rocket
Yeah.
pops today.
And she was like, yeah, like a red, white, and blue rocket pop. I'm
Huh.
like, does it? So I thought back and I looked up what it was in a rocket pop. I'm like,
Pretty
Yeah,
close.
it's pretty
That's
close.
pretty dang close.
You weren't
man.
even trying.
And so I wasn't even trying to go for that. Initially, I was trying to go for something more summery, something more that kind of reminded me like an island punch or something, but like not quite mango, but something still kind of tropical and fruity.
Yeah.
And when we first got the batch in that they had made, I'd smelled it, and I was like, "Oh crap, this is pretty strong, guys! Like this is really strong." And I'm like, I don't know, this might be like a little bit too much. And after I think it was about 2 to 3 days, the scent kind of started to just settle better, right?
Mellows
and so
a little.
It mellows. And when I smelled it a couple days later, I was like, okay, this is good. Like, this is perfect. This is right where I was wanting it to be. So, yeah, the best way to describe it is kind of like a light, fruity smell. It smells kind of like either like a candy or some type of like your favorite icicle ice cream or whatever the heck you would have. Yeah.
But I like the
popsicle.
rocket. I like Rocket Pop.
That's
scent.
a great way of looking at it.
And we've been calling it summer drink.
Yeah.
So
It's like
Now,
summer
what
drink,
it is
rocket
not is it's not blueberries, which a lot of people seem to be guessing.
No.
It is not blueberries. So.
Well, some people might think oh, it's kind of like a hint of blue raspberry. Maybe the combination of a couple things might give it like that sourish.
Kind of like if you mix some other things, you kind of think you're smelling like pear or apple when it's not actually pear or apple.
So, but anyway, that was pretty much it. So I think Rocket Pop is probably the best.
Yeah,
Not
I
Bomb
think
Pop,
that's
but
it.
Rocket Pop was probably the best way to describe it. But it smells really, really good. So get it now. If you're listening to this, you like it, and you like the idea of it, then order it, because I don't have no idea when we're going to get more in, because you have to remember, guys, during the pandemic, we are in a worldwide shortage of gallon containers, right?
yeah.
Containers
So
in
us-
general, sprayers, all that stuff.
So us even trying to make this whole thing happen with a Blue Bean Maker was such a stretch, and it worked out, and it worked out great.
And it
but
literally showed up like an hour before the sale launched. So
Yeah.
we were under the gun on trying to get that in and get it available for everybody.
So I don't know when it will happen again. So I'm to order it now while you can. I know that I'm going to get myself a gallon. I have a sprayer at home. I know you guys should probably get yourself a gallon as well. But the rest of the sale was great, though. I think that between the Cyclone wash mitts, the RWB Cyclone wash mitts,
what's been hot too was the Ultimate One Step kits.
yeah,
That was a big seller as well.
Well,
So-
what's crazy is that when they told me that they were going to put that kit together, right? They're like, yeah, so we're going to do the Bead Maker Uno kit. It's going to be awesome. I'm like, heck yeah, man, that sounds great. I'm going through the sale photos, and I'm like, oh my God, they used the blue bead maker in the kit instead of the orange bead maker. And I'm sitting here like,
That wasn't your intent.
I'm like, that wasn't the intention at all. But then I was thinking to myself, I'm like, well, the Uno
works
smells
perfect.
good. The blue bead maker smells good too. That's got to be a pretty nice little treat there.
Yep.
We haven't smelled that combo yet,
No,
so
but
let
it's-
us know
yeah.
what it smells like.
But I'm excited to see. I like that they paired a pint of Uno with a gallon of bead maker because that literally now you've got bead maker. You're going to need to buy the 32 of the Uno, so to speak.
So, but yeah, another good kit. I think that overall, though, I think the sale has gone fantastic. I think that one thing you have to remember too, if you're also listening to this, we are trying to, we want to have more sales, but we want to have more smaller sales, less, more concentrated sales on certain things, right? To make things more fun and to kind of keep things getting changed up on the website constantly. But in terms of these big sales that we have where it's a large discount on the website, this is only a couple times a year, and we can't emphasize that
holidays
enough.
and stuff.
Yeah, so 20% off. This is not something you're going to see all the time. But I will say that I want to congratulate the Grand Ambassadors for the
new quarter, Q3.
the Q3 Grand Ambassadors that were just announced. Each one of them got a 15% coupon code that you get to use once. So if you go and follow them, you'll have access to a coupon code that you can use to get 15% off one purchase there. And it's a cool little perk of the whole Grand Ambassador program. I'm hoping that this quarter we're able to kind of create a better relationship than we did. I don't want to say with the last quarter, just last quarter. It was literally right when all the COVID stuff hit.
Yeah.
It made it hard.
And it made it really difficult because I know people aren't, it's weird because like as much as social media keeps happening and people keep posting and stuff, it's not quite the same, right? Especially when everything was crazy. People were not wanting to learn all about detailing or see all these Grand Ambassadors with their cool pictures and creative stuff. They're kind of like, hey, this other stuff's kind of crazy right now. So we're hoping that this quarter, right? We get to start kind of, having an emphasis on the creativity and kind of promoting our grand ambassadors more. And so, but we did appreciate everything that Q2 did. They did awesome. There were some great posts, great photos, even great videos. And they're such a staple and foundation in kind of what we do on our media platforms. And I think all the grand ambassadors have done such a good job. So Q3, if you're a grand ambassador, which I know that we have several listeners of the podcast that are grand ambassadors or were grand ambassadors, make sure to go congratulate the new Q3s and tell them congrats and wish them well. And if you think they have any questions or reach out to them, kind of let them know how the program goes and whatnot. I think they'll really appreciate that. So
help them out.
That's everything for housekeeping.
Excellent.
So I think
so. Now let's go into the big news of housekeeping.
Ooh. Okay.
What happened with you, Anthony?
The big news of housekeeping. I see what you've done there. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Everybody.
I guess it's safe to talk about now. Huh?
Well, I think everybody's pretty much left the chat now. So, yeah.
This is pre-recorded. There's no chat.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I'll just keep going then. Yes, I got the house. So everything went through. Got the house. So
3-car garage.
3-car garage, baby.
Woo-wee.
So, how I was saying last week, I didn't want to make a big deal because I didn't want to jinx it. Honestly, dude, this is because we've gotten with 2 other houses we were interested in over the last couple of years. We had gone through a lot of the process, found out things didn't work, and it was just a super big letdown because I get really excited about that kind of stuff, and when it doesn't, happen, I get really disappointed, and so I get my hopes up. And so when Katie and I started looking at this new house that we were looking at, we're super excited, super pumped. And but she was like, well, are you going to start telling people that we're getting a house? I'm like, no, not until I sign those papers will I tell people.
The keys in your hand.
And I have the keys in my hand because I'm like, I got my hopes up last time. She's like, no, it's a done deal. Like, don't worry, everything's going to go through. I'm like,
that.
I will wait until that. She was not mad. She was not happy with me for having that attitude, but I was like, just let me do my thing. So Thursday we went in, Thursday morning, signed the paperwork, got everything done with the title company. I mean, everything worked out to where the lady said we got great interest rate, which I was super, super happy about. And all that, everything was good. There was no hiccups. There was nothing bad that happened. So then Thursday evening we went through and did our homeowners walkthrough where we walked through with the what's his name? Not the main person, the person assigned to the house, right?
Yeah,
the person overviewing that house.
Because this was a new construction home.
Yeah, brand new home.
So.
Yeah,
it's not quite finished yet, right? There's still some things going on in it? Or?
I'll let you, Dane, I'll let you know. So at the point of the walkthrough, the house was done, right? Backyard was done, all that kind of stuff. Because when
you go through to sign off on stuff.
Yeah, when we had looked at the house had just been finished, and that's when we're like, okay, we want it because it's in a good location. But there's still things that need to be fixed. Like the backyards was not graded or done, so that still had to get done. But they don't include backyards as part of the price, which is just one of those things, right?
Kind of nickel and dimey.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you want a yard?
That's
extra.
Yeah, there's certain things that
you bought a sedan, but you want back seats? That's extra.
And that's where like some of those things are kind of like a wash, because like then the areas that you're saving money or maybe even getting promotional money and all this stuff, you're like, wow, I'm getting a really good deal. But now I still have to spend the extra on this, which is that a wash, or am I still getting a good deal? You know, it's...
Yeah. You might have been a little swayed by the 3-car garage. I think that may have had something
who wouldn't be,
to do with it.
No. 3-car garage, flat-ish driveway, you know, all that.
So you don't have an elevation to deal with?
Not like what I have now, or not like...
Yeah, because yours is kind of an incline right now.
Yeah, this is relatively flat.
Probably like mine, where it feels flat. Still an incline, but
flat. but not bad. Yeah. And
low car friendly.
So... but overall, though, we did the walkthrough. Everything looked great. No issues. And the second he took off, right, Katie's like, all right, well, we're getting ready to get started. So here's the problem. Well, I don't look at all the problem. I call it some good things. The house had a list of pros. I'm talking everything that we could want. Big yard, 3-car garage, all single story, big single story, right?
Yeah,
love that.
4 something bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It's got one of those crazy soaker tub things that's just
nice.
massive in there.
Yeah.
It's got everything that we could have want. It hit our checklist.
Intercom system?
Not yet. Soon, right?
I know. I need one for mine.
It's got the Nest system, right?
Nice,
The cool thing. It's got all of that. It's got because the house had a promotion where it came with like the tech package, so it comes with like a bunch of cameras, an extra Ring doorbell, and some random like electronic thingies that are installed. So list keeps going down, right? All these good things, but location was number one, best location. We loved it. Great neighborhood.
Closer to here, you're no longer out almost to Nampa.
Yes.
Almost to Nampa.
Every single pro there was almost to Nampa. Yeah. Every single pro was hit. And then the one bad thing was the interior color of the house. Right. And
so the standard color that they just painted everything.
Dude, well,
so that's the work I was kind of alluding to.
So that's where Katie was like, she's like, this isn't, she's like, I think this is either a mess up on their part, right? We have no control over what they painted the interior, but it was either a mess up or a miscommunication, because she said she's never seen a house painted like this on the interior. Basically what it was is the walls, the ceiling, and the trim were all the same color, just a different sheen of that color. Right? So
it was like instead of a satin, they were a high gloss. Or instead of a flat, they were a semi-gloss.
And it wasn't white. It was probably presumably a darker shade.
Like a gray.
No, it was, I'm talking a shade off of white. It's called Ice Cube is what it is. It's the lightest gray they've ever made, right?
So it's kind of a little hint of blue in it?
Yes, a little hint of blue. And basically the trim gloss, right? The walls like a satin semi-gloss, and the roof was like flat or something like eggshell, whatever the heck it was.
It looked funny.
So,
especially to a discerning eye.
Yeah. So when you walk in, you're like, oh, cool, white house, right? Because it's got white cabinets, white countertops, white tile backsplash. Everything else is white in there, and then the floors are like a wooden lighter floor, kind of maybe similar to these colors, a little bit more brown.
Look for a little contrast,
but it looked good. But when we walked in, Katie's like, "Oh, is it white? Oh my God, it's not white because the cabinets are white. This is like a gray color." And so she's like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, they're like, all right, the house is great. The interior color is just not ideal. We can fix that over the next 20 years or however long we have to fix it. She's like, no, the easiest time it's going to be to fix it is right after we move in, or right after we get the keys. And I'm like, yes, that makes the most sense, but this is also a crazy project to take on immediately. And
is it the whole house needs it?
So technically, yes. Technically,
Okay.
So a full repaint of a brand new home
of the interior, yeah.
That,
yeah.
How many square feet?
It's a little over 2,100.
Okay, so that's a chunk to be painted.
It's a good paint.
Yeah.
It's a good size thing to be painting. So we
well, and Anthony, you're not a big painter.
No.
You're not like
he tends to farm that out.
Well, no, like put it in perspective. So I painted houses, commercial buildings, number of things for about 8 months. Mm-hmm. That's where I learned my painting prowess, my skills, so to speak.
You honed them.
So I don't like doing painting jobs,
but you can do it.
But I can knock it out. If I have to, I can come in, I can paint a room. I've got the speed, I've got the accuracy, I've got the proper purdy brushes for such an occasion. But I dislike doing it. So I look at it from Anthony's point of view, where I feel I am a fairly accomplished painter, would go, yeah, that sounds like it's going to suck. Mm-hmm. And I feel bad for you because I would not I would not like to be in his shoes.
But if you really want that house, that's a sacrifice you got to be willing to make.
So,
yeah. So, and that was, so we discussed it. We said, hey, it's got so many pros. Like the interior house color is that's like
the least of the worries.
It's not like we're adding a third bay onto the garage, right? It's not like we are.
It has a lot of pros, like a 3-car garage and a 3-car garage and a 3-car garage.
Well, there is everything else. It's not like we're doing that kind of crazy stuff. Like it's already got everything that we could want in it. And it's just really the color, and that's where Katie's grandpa was a professional painter for 40 years, painted houses, right? We asked him, said, hey, would you be able to take on this job, right? If we, if whatever we need to do to help you to do this. And he was like, yep, absolutely. So our weekend started on Friday. I left work early, did a half day, went to the house, and immediately we started masking off everything. The first to get painted was the ceiling. So we had to spray the ceiling, the extra white or flat white, whatever it was. So we had to tape off everything. And I think I kind of knew how much work it was going to be. But then once I actually started doing it, I was like, holy hell.
What did we do?
What are we doing right now?
Brand new floor.
Oh, yeah.
Brand new fixtures, brand new everything. And now you're masking it all off because you're going to spray paint on the ceiling.
Yeah. I'm sitting here, I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy. I'm like, this is a brand new home. It's amazing. Like, why can't we just move in and be happy with it? And Katie's sitting there and she's just like, this was the deal. I told you, you already agreed to the deal. I'm like, I did. I didn't know how crazy of a deal this was. So, so we taped off everything. I'm talking rolls and rolls and rolls of plastic, drop cloths, on the walls, everything. We did the whole floorboards. We had to put tape underneath the floorboards, tape the new plastic everywhere. The house looked like a circus, or like something we were going to cook meth in. Yeah. Or kill somebody. I have no idea, but
a Dexter kill room.
Everything was covered. I'm talking no thing went uncovered. It was me, Katie, her grandma, her mom was helping. We taped everything off. And then the tape took us a day and a half, all day Friday evening, and then first half of Saturday. It took us to do everything for that. He came in with his gun, sprayed the ceilings, and I want to say it was an hour.
Yeah.
The entire house.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah. In an hour. So a day and a half of prep for an hour of spraying. That's how much faster spraying went than rolling. Dang. So sprayed it, pulled the tape down, perfect. Literally couldn't have asked for it to be any better. I was amazed. So that was the end of that day. Sunday, started the morning super early. Everything needed to be taped off for the trim, because now the trim, keep in mind, trim is baseboards, trim is doors, and trim is everything around your doors.
I was going to say, do you have any crown molding or anything to deal
with?
Thank
God, no crown molding. Okay. Thank God. Which
So, and then to put this back into perspective, a lot of people are wondering, this is a brand new house, but this wasn't. It's new. Your guys's. It was new construction, but it wasn't. We didn't 100% ground up custom build from you guys.
No, not at all.
So what this is, so Katie works for a company that builds houses, and this was one of those houses that was almost completed. And there was a lot of great incentives and deals associated with that house. And that's why Katie jumped on it. Just like if she was a car salesman and there was a model that was on the lot that, hey, right now they're doing this kind of finance, this kind of deal. We can get this model for this much money.
Or you get like a free extended warranty.
Well, there was a big, but this was a massive, you guys got a really great deal. And the point is, it came with some caveats, i.e. the house already being painted on the inside. But you did your yard. You got to use to set up and landscape. You got to put a tree in your backyard, which you were very excited about. There was a lot of perks in designing, because you still got to add fixtures. You still got to add some of the extra stuff. But the house was kind of one of those weird 50-50 builds already where it was partially done, but
the bones were already there, and it wasn't, and they're not going to change them, right?
So so in case you're listening, it's going like, why didn't you guys just check on this soon? Why didn't you? It wasn't like that. The house was already done. So
and so
continue. So everything got sprayed, looking great.
Everything got sprayed, looked great. Sunday, started taping off all the trim, and it sucked because basically we could not reuse the same masking from
you get all new masking.
We all knew because the overspray was just crazy and super dusty. Had to take all that out, re-vacuum the floors, get it all cleaned up again, and then we started taping the trim. Now it kind of sucks. This is something that only me is going to know. Nobody else is going to know this, but it's just like a detailing thing, right? The trim, how it is now, is sprayed trim. The baseboards, the door trim, all that is the best it's ever going to look now because it's sprayed and it was put in after a spray. Because we are not literally taking it off the doors, right? We have to paint it on. Spraying it on, you get a huge task. You literally have to do everything we just did the following days, but flip it to where now we're just taping off the trim. It would take us.
You'd also be doing the floors, and
it would take us
to get all the overspray.
A week and a half to do that, right? So we are hand painting on the trim, right, which is turning out great. But basically, you're going to have brush strokes in certain areas where there wasn't a brush, right? And then it's going to be rolled on the doors, and so the doors look amazing. They look just like how they did, right? The roller looked really, really good. The trim looked really, really good with rolling, but you can tell like on the inside of where the door goes inside the frame.
Yeah.
You can see like the brush marks, and me being like a detailer, right? I'm like, that's not going to bother me, not at all. And every time I walk by it, I'm like, brush strokes. Can I wet sand them?
Yeah. Well,
like, orange peel.
and from my point of view, I actually like a brushed look on my trim.
It's a style
That's
choice.
I like seeing the brush strokes
So
on that.
Katie explained that to me.
Yeah.
She said that a brush stroke is going to look a lot more
like hand hewn.
Well, it looks
like,
real because the other
hand
looks
forged.
plasticky and fake.
correct. And so she explained that to me. She's like, honestly, she's like, some people when they brush on trim, they don't even do a full like 3 coats or 2 coats like they should, because they like seeing the difference in between the old color and the new color, because it just looks more not vintage, but
it just looks more real.
Yeah, it looks more real. And so when she explained that to me, I'm like, you know what? I could kind of see that.
Yeah.
But
We have artisanal
but I'm
trim
like,
in our house.
but who's out there hand brushing a vehicle,
hand
like,
forged.
yeah. So but yeah, so I mean that was it. So 4th of July was literally spent doing that.
Just painting.
Just painting, getting everything ready, and then went home with the dogs. They were freaking out because they had given Benadryl because of the fireworks, and dude, they were going off on like last year. I think we had maybe a couple people shoot mortars, right? And you can buy mortars in Idaho for people that don't. A mortar is the giant thing that goes boom, flies up 300 feet into the sky and explodes, right? And it puts on the big explosion. So you can buy those in Idaho legally, but typically it's what, $5 to $10 a mortar is how much these things cost. They're not cheap. So when people start shooting off mortars, you're like, they probably only have so many, because let's think about it. I mean, if they're
there are guys that literally go spend $1,500 on mortars.
Yeah, I heard.
Just for their backyard.
well,
and they'll put it on their credit card, and they'll do that every year.
Yeah,
that's just like part of their deal. Like this year, I had lot $1,500 to $2,000, and I'm gonna beat Steve with his fireworks
Yeah, there's
show.
some one-upsmanship.
There's a lot of it,
dude. Well, because I'm thinking every time a mortar goes off, I'm like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Because my family has bought mortars. My family's been that family. My dad one year spent $600 on a fireworks. He's like, this is going to be crazy, right? And there's guys that will one-up him, right, and go a little more. So these guys that were outside of my neighborhood, they were kind of over in an area that hasn't been built yet, but they set up like a whole entire like little like campsite there, bunch of trucks, things like that. They're sitting there and they start going off, and I'm like, all right, there's 20, 30, 40, $50. I'm like, they've got to be close to just, using the bottom of the barrel stuff now, right? 11 o'clock hit, right? And I see the entire line of this street, right? I see it go. It looked like some crap out of a war movie, right? They must have had 30 of the tubes, right? 30 mortar tubes, right? And then all the guys, right, were basically, they had some type of extended fuse that they did. They ran down. I could see the guy with the lighter running down the way, right, lighting all these fuses. And it was like some artillery crap. It went dunk, 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 all the way down this full thing. I see the flares of the explosions. It goes up, and I'm like, holy crap. They just lit off $200 in one run.
Yeah.
And then they did another finale one. They easily spent $1,500.
Yeah.
So, but I've never seen that much money being spent. But the way I see it,
last year I did that same thing at my friends. We were there, and they were like, "Come over. Our neighbors have a firework battle." I was like, "What?" And they're like, "No, they do. They buy mortars, and that's what they did." And it was just I'd never seen a fireworks show like that. It rivaled the cities.
Yeah. So that was it. So that was what we did there, and then went back to the house. Like I said, Sunday finished up some more stuff. Now, if anybody's wondering, so we're not selling our old house. We're keeping our old house. We Katie's dad, he's like a property investor.
He's got a lot of rental property.
He's got a lot of rental properties, and so he kind of convinced us, like saying, "Hey, this is a smart idea to keep it."
And Katie runs all the rentals here in Boise.
She runs his business for him that he has here, and so that's what she does on the side. When she's not working for the home building company, and so he kind of convinced us, because at first we were like, "Let's just sell it, and we don't want to deal with the headache." He's like, "Listen to me. I'm an old guy who's done some stuff. Trust me on this." So we rented out our house. So our house we already have renters moving in middle of August. They're coming in and renting us from us. So we're going to keep that. And the idea is to keep it forever.
Yeah.
And the main reason why we're not super worried about it is because that house is only 3 years old.
Yeah.
And if it was a really old house, it would be something maybe a little bit more stressful. Like, what if the AC goes out? What if,
right?
It
Yeah.
needs
Well, you look at it and go like a 10-year plan. That house is going to be fine for the next 10 years, and the right renters, you can keep that house just humming along perfectly for the next 10, maybe 15 years.
Yeah.
And it can go through a cycle of renter. You may just need to go in, clean, paint the walls again,
Call
it good in between renters, but
fix holes in the thin drywall, whatever happens. Yeah.
But my dad does that when he does his rental properties. He sets them up and he goes, my goal is when I buy one and I build it and I do all this, he goes, it's set for the next 20 years. I don't have to do anything but paint the walls and clean it in between rentals.
Yeah.
That's his goal when he sets that stuff up. So yeah, you guys are right in there, and I know probably Katie's dad has that same kind of plan. So he's right. You've got a new house.
Yeah, he said
pretty much new house. Why not?
He said, I mean, at least he's like rent it for. He's like, and if it's not for you, like let's just say it's too stressful, or if you're finding, he's like, give it a year, give it 2 years. Yeah. He's like, you'll see how kind of hands off you really is. I mean, for the most part. And kind of go from there. Because I thought back to when I was renting houses, right? I never hit at my landlord, right? If something, there were certain things I hit him up about, but like other than paying him every month, I'm like, I want my privacy. I don't want this guy snooping around. I also am taking care of the house and doing a good job because I think he vetted some good people to take care of it. So looking as a renter, there wasn't really a whole lot of maintenance to be done other than just paying my bill and bills associated with the house. So I'm thinking from a renter's standpoint, for renting the property, it's can't be that bad.
And like my dad, he's a landlord, and what he does now is he mows all the lawns on his properties. So he comes by and just does the lawn. He just comes to mow the lawn.
That's his checkup.
And that's his checkup. And he doesn't have to go in, but he lets him know, hey, you don't have to do anything with the lawn. I'll mow it. And he goes and mows it. And
it also kind of establishes like, hey, I'm here all the time. Don't ruin my house.
Right.
Which is
but he can
nice.
also check. Like he said, he went by and mowed one day and saw that like the outside faucet was leaking a little bit. So he went to tighten it. It was still leaking.
Yeah.
My dad pays the water on all the houses. So for him, he goes,
that's money. Huh?
That's I'll get that fixed. He goes, if I had not gone for a month or 6 and wondered why that bill was so high, well, there's the reason. So, there's things he covers and then other things that the renters cover. And part of that is he sees it as easy to keep an eye on it.
Yeah. And I think, so I think it'll be pretty good. Plus, it's also great because Katie's coworker lives in the house behind us.
Perfect.
So
she'll be able to keep up.
Yeah,
on
like
that.
her coworker of like 6 years, like she lives like literally directly behind us. So I'm like, well, that's good. At least she can keep us updated if we need to go out there more often. My parents are really close to that house too, and so they'll be able to kind of stop by. And
I had a neighbor who I was friends with them, and they had turned their house into a rental, but I had stayed friends with them, and they had some people living there that weren't taking their garbage out.
Ooh.
And
where was it going?
On the back patio.
Oh, that's not good.
So they were, for lack of a better term, they were girls that lived there for there's 2 of them, and they had weird hours. So it would one of them would take the trash out and set it out back, but then never actually walk it to the trash can.
Oh no.
So then they would just pile up.
I'm guessing students.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Young. Yeah. It was like their first house. They didn't
because the weird hours thing means go to school during the day and then have like an odd job at night or something.
I was going to say they were teenagers, but they were older than teenagers, but not quite adults. And they would just,
I've seen that.
They would literally just pile the trash. So then all of a sudden I was out back at my house and I was like, it smells like garbage. And I peek over the fence and I'm like, there's about 40 bags of garbage just sitting on the patio, stinking up the place.
Yeah.
So I was like,
gross.
Sent my old neighbor an email and said, hey, you might want to take a look. They haven't taken out the garbage for 40 weeks.
Trash service is there for a reason.
Yeah. And they're just not that extra 10 feet to the trash can so they can be picked up. They're literally just setting out the back door. And but it was nice because they were like, thank you for telling us. Oh my gosh.
What's going through the mind of a person who does that though? Do you not notice after like the 20th or 30th bag?
Neither of them were.
Wow,
neither of them
really
cared.
adding up.
Yeah, neither of them cared. They didn't have one person who was like, oh, let's do this. So it's nice having somebody else also to keep your eye on. So anyway, point is, I'm proud of you. I'm excited for you to see that. Just so you know, Anthony had kept this such a secret that Jeff didn't even know why you were off on Friday.
Yeah.
And we said, he had to go, he closed on his house, and then they had to go do a walkthrough on their new place. And he goes, he's buying a house? He already has one. We're like, this is another one that they're, and he was like, why didn't he tell any of us? So it became a whole.
Because I don't want anybody to ruin it because
you're superstitious. It's like a baseball player. You find your pair of lucky socks or
man.
bat or whatever. In your case, it's just don't talk about the house.
Lucky sock
until you got the house.
Socks or sock. You know.
Jinx.
So, but
Dane, what'd you do?
Well, hold on, really quick. One last thing I was gonna say. I do need some garage ideas. So I am going to be, and I'll have. This
is a get organized Anthony
of the podcast help out.
Ready.
So I need I've already started mudding the walls in the garage,
some pictures.
right? And kind of fixing that.
Yeah,
so I've already started mudding.
Out.
I still have to do a couple more coats, sand it down. I'm not going for perfect. I'm just trying to go for get rid of the tape lines and anything that shows. So color-wise, I think on the last garage, I can't remember what the heck I chose, but it was a little bit too warm of a white. I don't know what color this white wall is behind. You guys can't see this right here. I don't know what that is, but that's pretty nice.
It's an extremely neutral.
You like
white.
the blue in
it's
it?
Not.
We could
I
add
kind of like the blue
feature.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I kind of want it to be just pretty white. I've gone through tons of different garage colors in my head. I'll never do black. I'm always gonna do probably something bright to really brighten up the garage.
What about this? Now this is something I considered doing with mine, which is the lower areas tend to be the ones that get scuffed and things happen to them. If you do a two-tone, you do like a belt line, and you basically make the area below like a bench level belt line. Down below, darker color, and then above, white.
My shop, I did that. I did a dark gray with like a 6-inch red stripe.
Yeah, you can tie it together with a
for my detail shop. Now my dad did the same kind of style with the gray lower and then just a wood trim piece across the middle as a belt line.
Yeah,
and then he did white for the rest of it. Top ceiling.
It lowers
all that.
the amount of maintenance you'll have to do. Maybe don't pick black, but just like something that's a darker color, so it can hide more of the stuff that rubs against it and things like that over time.
Yeah, it's up to you. I'm going dark. My whole garage is going to go dark with wood and brick. So
I just don't know. I think the white. I just think I'm going to be happiest with the white because I like bright areas.
Yeah,
it makes me happier. And
we'll get our psych wall white.
I think that I like your idea of doing the two-tone, but like I also don't know what I get sick of color really fast. So I would want something either super neutral. So if I were to do white, it'd be like white, black, and gray or something. But then that's even too neutral. So I don't know what I would want. I think I might just go white, be happy. Down the road, if I want to do something, I can do something later. But it gives me just a good starting point.
Yeah, well, and then as another alternative, you could do the two-tone thing, but rather than a color, you choose like a texture to be your lower area. Like he's doing brick and stuff like that. If you chose like a look-alike brick or some kind of imitation tile, go around, make that.
I could get a roll of something. I can get a roll of wallpaper, right?
You could do vinyl. You could just do vinyl.
It could be vinyl.
So something even as simple as that would look kind of cool. So I could do. If I wanted to, I could do a roll of that, but at least I'll have a white base. And
or like that white brick looking stuff where it's still white, but it's got like some texture to it.
Yeah, something like that.
Something different.
So we'll have to kind of just see. But so I'm going to do that, get everything painted. And then for flooring, right, this was a big thing because everybody has their opinions on flooring. I looked up the epoxy, checked out quotes. I got quotes from people. I talked to other people about epoxy. I think epoxy is great when it's upkept, looks good. Depends on what the car, what's being done in that garage for those cars. But I looked, some of these guys are charging $250 to $3 a square foot for epoxy, right? If they were to do a professional job, come in, sand everything, do all the prep, and get it all done right. The garage is a 22 by 35 or whatever the heck it is, right? Which I think comes out to like
standard 3-car.
It's 600, 700 square feet. So I'm looking at a minimum of $1,500 to over $2,000 for the epoxy, right? And the other downside is that I've looked up a bunch of research because I jack up my cars on jack stands. It's a working garage. I need it to be as functional as possible. Some people are like, yep, epoxy's held up great, never had any issues. And some people, like my friend Jason, are like, yeah, my epoxy already has some divots in it. It's already has some chunks missing out of it from jacking things up. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. You can't really tell in the grand scheme of things, but once it starts getting worse, it's going to start looking pretty bad.
Right. It does.
So that's where I'm like, why would I spend $2,000 on that? So then the other option is garage flooring, right?
Right.
Now, so I started looking up and just for reference, guys, I can't afford race deck floor, what's it called?
Swiss tracks.
I honestly,
race deck is too expensive.
Yeah. So
they're about the same price.
So Swiss tracks was pretty damn expensive when I started looking things up, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get any type of deal to make that happen. So here's my other thoughts on this. I will probably go with the cheaper garage tech or garage track flooring, right? Which is, I think, might even be cheaper than the race deck flooring, but it's something. And I might do that for only like maybe a third to 2/3 of the garage in the
like
areas where the Evo is going to be, and then my motorcycles and stuff like that, and maybe the Civic in the wintertime.
So like 2/3 of it'll have the floor, and then the last third will be, well, this is where the 400 goes.
Well, yeah, and I'll do like transition pieces or something like that to where it looks somewhat clean.
Sure.
I'm having a hard time justifying spending all the money to do the whole floor. I like the idea that I can keep the flooring forever, remove it as needed, or whatever I need to do.
Is it concrete floor in there right now?
Yeah, it's concrete in there.
Consider like getting it polished or something.
No, I haven't. It's just
because that's one idea I'm going for. Is I'm going to do my floor in green, and so what I want to do is do like a green dye acid kind of etch, and then I'm just want to use clear, like a polyurethane clear.
Sure.
Over the whole thing, kind of like what we did out here in the
wall.
But that's what I'm going to do, and put as many coats as I can of just clear over my existing concrete after it's been somewhat dyed green or splotched green.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's my goal. But I'm not, if it peels up, whatever, I want it to look old and beat up. That's my goal. End game. The goal I'm looking forward is going to be that kind of vintage.
You want a distressed look.
You want that what's it called, the wax company we went and saw.
Simonized Garage.
You want Simonized Garage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I'm kind of I'm trying to decide how I'm going to do all this, because I have to do the garage flooring eventually. I like to do it before all the shelving gets put in, because we are going to have a couple shelves built in the garage. I do want to have, I did find out I do have a drain for a garage sink.
Oh,
so
lovely.
Nice. I can put in I'm just going to
utility sink.
Go get a utility sink, plug that thing in.
Go find a cheap washer and dryer, make it for towels.
Yeah, it'd be pretty badass. But I basically, I know this garage could be really nice. I'm not Matt, right? This isn't going to be an obsessed.
We don't have the money to do that.
I'm not, yeah.
Anthony's going to be a baller on a budget.
Yeah. So I
think what's nice is you can build something that is, like I look at my garage and it's very hodgepodge, and it's nowhere near my vision of what I'd like it to be, but it's functional and it works for everything that I need.
Yeah.
Like I can do everything out of there, and I'm totally fine, which is good and bad, because it's comfortable enough that I could see myself the next 5 years not doing anything.
Yeah.
And just leaving it in that state, but the aesthetic eye of it, and go like, I really could do this.
You want to inject
really
more character into it.
So as long as you can get it to where you're functional and happy, where you can do your work and your videos and stuff, and do stuff on there and work on cars and play with stuff, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I just want it to where I'm just like I find a good happy medium of like, this is nice and clean, and if somebody goes inside, they're going to think, "Oh, wow, cool garage."
Right.
I don't want to not take advantage of a good layout, and I don't want
a clean slate opportunity right now. So whatever you do to it's going to be better than it is now.
I just know a lot of people they just associate that. Oh, you guys hang out with Matt. You guys know Matt, so you can do
osmosis.
You can do the same stuff that Matt
this
can.
Building is there's somebody else that's paying for all this cool stuff you see. It's not the three of us.
Yeah, I need.
We help contribute, but we don't.
I need that budget built. You know, that's life. I can't do that crazy stuff. I might be able to put a used TV from 2006 in my garage.
Ooh, I like that,
if I play my cards right.
Yeah.
Would you like my 55-inch plasma that I'm not using?
Oh, well.
It's actually a really good one. I literally only took it away to put the 75-inch.
Well, Dane, if you're just
Just
giving it
handing out
away, wow,
TVs.
I'll literally just give it away. Like,
Okay.
I'm fine. I was gonna sell it, but honestly, it feels like a lot of work right now. So I'll just
there you
I'll
go,
just give
Anthony.
it.
55-inch.
Get a nice TV
All right.
for your garage.
Wow.
So I have computer monitors that I'm trying to figure out how to repurpose.
So he's like,
into
well, that's
a
nice
TV.
of you, Dane. In the meantime, I'm trying to use computer monitors to.
The catch is basically it's set up for a wall mount. I don't know where the feet for it to just set on something are, so
Nope.
it'll have to go on a wall anyway.
It will go on a wall, Dane. That would be
Okay.
the plan.
Well,
Nice.
that's
Well,
one less thing in the mailroom. That's what I'm aiming for.
Yes. So I just, I need to get that up. So if you guys have any ideas or great garage colors, please let me know down in the comments.
So
like
hashtag
literally give
get
me the
Anthony
color.
organized.
Yeah, give me the color that either it's called or the color number. And then if you know of any great deals on garage flooring or have any experience with like some of like the cheaper stuff, like the garage tech or whatever the heck it is, like send me some links and send me some examples, because I'm looking for something really affordable. I like the idea of the drainage style ones, not the plain flat top ones. So that's probably the look I would want to go for. So if anybody has any of that, send it over to me. I'll check it out, or if there's any good deals. Because eventually, maybe I think by the next couple weeks, I'd like to start getting some of this stuff ordered, and I would like to have the garage painted by this weekend. Is my goal.
Okay, so let's flood it.
So I have my Harbor Freight sprayer, and I just need a paint code. I just need to know what the heck it's
There you
gonna
go.
be.
All right,
Well, look into this one.
we can go look at.
Oh,
look at that. Yeah.
You pointed to yourself.
No,
I'm like,
not
what?
me. I'm talking about over on the wall.
Anthony, your garage is now black.
Whoops.
All right. Hey, Dane, what did you do this weekend?
Well, I didn't get up to too much this weekend. Kept it pretty low key because the weekend before was a nice, like, relaxing trip and stuff, but it was fun. We kind of did something there. In this case, we went to my folks' house, and it was originally going to be kind of a larger family event, but at the same time, with everything going on and rise in cases here in the valley, we kind of told our extended family, you know what, it's okay if you want to stay home. And they basically said, oh, thank you. We were worried about having to come in. It's like, we love you guys. Of course we want to come, but at the same time, yeah, we understand. So it was fine. So it was just basically Liz and I, and then my folks and my brother. And John stopped by briefly to drop off some doggy drugs to calm down Cooper, the shop dog around here. It's like a little schnauzer mix. But I have my dog Callie, who's a Great Pyrenees Red Heeler mix. She's quite a big girl, and she is deathly afraid of fireworks.
She destroy your parents' home.
No, actually, this is a fun part. I didn't know John was going to come over and drop off that stuff for Cooper. So on my way to their house, I actually did some quick investigation online. I was like, is there anything I can do to like calm her down? And I found they sold some over-the-counter stuff at Petco, which was, the name cracked me up. It was just called Quiet Moments. Like, it's basically shut the F up, dog, is basically like the implication here. But it's just quiet, calming treats, quiet moments. It was like, all right, let's see what this stuff, it goes with hemp seed, and it has melatonin in it, and all these other things. And
I'm getting my dog baked.
We're going to get the dog Boozy. She's going to chill out because she is high energy dog when she's in an environment like that, but she's actually pretty calm when she's just with us. So the second the fireworks are going off, though, they were going off early in my neighborhood too. Like, it was all week. It wasn't just 4th of July. It was, people couldn't wait to set those things off. So I was like, all right, we get it. But she's terrified. So we went to my folks' house, and of course they have a nice area on the lake, and you can kind of hear like what the baseball stadium is doing not too far away, just like a mile or two
on the racetrack too.
Where I live, it's the racetrack, but where they are, it's the baseball setup. And it's basically just fireworks going off in every direction. Of course, you have like the Veterans Hill the other way. You have all that going on. So naturally, there's a lot coming from all directions. So the dogs were not loving it, but gave her a few of these treats, and next thing you know, she just kind of starts to mellow out, and you're like, okay, thank goodness. But she still got nervous, but it was just like dialed down a bit. So okay, nice. It helped. It helped. But one of the things was we just kind of had a nice outdoor barbecue setup where we had like some salmon and some steak and some potato salad, and it was like a mix of just nice outdoor environment. Like it wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. It was just pleasant. I can't emphasize enough how nice it was. And yeah, that was basically it. I don't have anything too exciting to share.
Nice little weekend.
It was just really lovely, and it was nice, and didn't have to stress too hard. So, that was basically it. Otherwise, yesterday on Sunday, I did some big trash run type stuff, clearing out more of the garage.
Hashtag get organized Dane.
I am dragging this out forever, and I know people keep asking me how's the garage stuff coming? And it's like, well, after all talking with you guys get stuff done faster. I'm milking it little by little by little. But
so did you take one bag of garbage out of the garage?
No. So I made some moves. Basically, I have a very bad habit of being a pack rat in that I keep the boxes of new items I buy.
It's called the mail room.
Well, it's not even that. They were in my garage too. So if I bought a leaf blower, I'm like, well, I got to keep that box in case I have to return it. I may need that box for later. Yeah. And then of course you have it for everything else too. Well, yeah, you run out of space and it's dumb, and you're looking at
are all these boxes broken down and put it
in?
Oh, so they're all full size boxes.
They're full size boxes. Okay. They simply just sit flat against the wall, and it's like, this is dumb. So, but I got my head in other places doing other things. I just kind of look at it and go I could still fit both cars in here without feeling too cramped. Because even though it's a 2-car garage, it's kind of
tight.
An oversized one actually, but it's longer. It's not wider. So.
Right. It's like mine.
Yeah. I think it's a 550 square foot one. Yeah. So it's decent, but yeah, it goes back more. But I have shelves and stuff, so it keeps this stuff a little tighter. Basically, I want to strip this stuff out. I want to go clean slate like you are, and then I probably adopt some of the ideas I talked about with you, like the two-tone stuff. But I went to Home Depot, and after dropping off my cardboard and various things, and I went to go look at sheds they had, because what I want to do is take the stuff out of my storage unit, put it into a shed behind the house, because I have a lot of room back there, and a shed will cost me basically the same as 4 or 5 months of my storage unit.
Right.
So I'm after a certain point, the storage unit, even though it was cheaper than a lot of other options,
it's going to go back up.
It's going to go back up. So I might as well just bring it home, take the hit on the cost initially, and be fine. But Home Depot was running one of their typical specials up through the 5th. So I was like, okay, time to go look, because they're like, no interest financing on this thing. Yeah. I was like, well, I have a Home Depot card, so it's easy to just do that. And I pay that stuff off quickly. But the point was, a shed is something where it's okay, that's a bigger ticket item, so it makes sense to do it.
Especially with that 0% financing.
So they had stuff out there. I was like, it's kind of a no-brainer when I see some of these nice ones are 10 by 10, 10 by 12. That's a decent size thing. And I just need to fit some of the larger items.
Right.
And then I can organize the smaller stuff. If I get new shelving setups in the garage, go from there. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for. But, I went to go get a shed, and go figure, this is just my luck, the one I wanted, they go, it says we have it in inventory, but we don't actually have it. And it's okay, great. Well, we'll call the other store. It says they have one. Well, we can't order it as long as it says there's one other one in the valley. We can't order it and stuff. It's all right. So they go and check on the other one. The other people don't have it. They're I don't know why it says we have one in the system. And they go, well, we have one in the parking lot, but those are the DNI, do not inventory. I used to work there. I know how that stuff works. Some person probably just scanned it without thinking about it and it entered it into the system on their stuff. So that's probably what happened.
So the one you want, you can't get.
Basically, it's sitting in the parking lot. It's it's right there. But yeah, it's just something where they're going to give me a call back today, and I'll see if I got it, because the whole point was that no interest financing thing they had running ends on the 5th, which was Sunday. So I told the lady specifically, if you can include this in your notes, you're going to call me. I really want to make sure I can still get that, because I tried to buy it today and they didn't let me. So just let me know if that's a possibility. We'll work on it, but I really want to make sure that's part of it, because that was kind of the appeal.
Yeah.
But
I'm excited about this new shed construction.
Waiting to hear about that. But they had some pretty good deals. So I was looking back there. It's man, if I could just do that, get stuff happening. Yeah. And then, of course, the other part was...
And it's not the drive. Once you get everything over, then it's just the emptying from the garage to the shed.
Yeah. And it's simple movement. Yeah. And then I don't have to worry about paying for a storage unit every month. Yeah. It's just simpler. So, yeah. I mean, it's kind of playing a little shuffle in the meantime, but... you got to do what you got to do.
I get it.
So having the space, it's nice. And, of course, I'm trying to sell the Mazda truck right now, just a little extra third vehicle. So I got that listed out there, and I get all this interest, and nobody actually comes to look at it. It's
story
the
of
most
your life
frustrating
for
thing. I
those
literally
cars.
have 25 contacts on Facebook Marketplace, and people are like, hey, well, can I come look at it? And I'm like, great. And I don't end up giving them the address until it's like day of kind of thing where I'm like sure that, okay, they're going to show up, and then it doesn't happen.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan.
So it's happened so many times at this
Well,
point.
there's a Mitsubishi pickup or a Mazda pickup if you want to pick one up there at Dane's house.
Got it
Get in
out
touch
there.
with him.
Yeah.
It's got it's a good truck, good running truck.
It's a smooth running
machine.
vehicle.
Point is,
Peanut
it's
butter.
like it's a good option pack for somebody who just wants like a little like lawn mowing truck. Just take it around, and do a little lawn service
There you
thing.
go.
That's fine. It's
The
two-wheel
Anthony's
drive.
new rental property
and it
truck.
does run and drive, but it just sounds a little rough. And yeah, it's like some people would be concerned about the head gasket thing, but I checked the oil and stuff, and it's not mixing the coolant and the oil together.
good.
So
That's good.
that means that the head gasket sealer worked, but at the same time you don't know for how long. So that is a risk. I get that, but at the same time, it's like it's extra thing in my driveway I don't need, so I'm willing to make a deal to the
There we
person
go.
who wants to come and get it.
Make a
So,
deal.
Be my guest.
I like it.
Yeah. So that's me. How about you?
Well, in the limited time we have, I'm going to say we were going to go down to Utah, go round up the kids, family, take a trip down to Utah. So I left early on Thursday to do that. We took Friday. We was going to take Friday off for that, and we started driving. And when we left, we got out of town. It was like 6:45 finally. By the time we had everything done, and on the road, driving, my wife was like, man, I just have something tugging at me saying we shouldn't go. So we keep driving a little more. I said, well, we always have that. And it's like forgetting that the stove's on or, all
And it
that.
fades away.
Yeah, it
the
usually
further you
fades
get
away once you get rolling, and it didn't. So hour and a half into the drive, my wife finally just says, pull over. She calls her mom, tells her the story. Her mom says, I also had that feeling you shouldn't go down. She calls her sister to tell her, hey, we're not coming. I just can't shake it. There's a feeling that says we shouldn't come down. And her sister said, I had a dream. I also felt you shouldn't come down. I don't want you coming down.
Watch enough horror movies. This is the part where you go, okay, and you turn.
So
back
my
around
head, I
home.
go, and we turn around and drive home.
Yeah. Get the heck out of here.
Let's go back
So
home.
Final Destination.
Right. And my wife was like, I just feel like there's big
A lot of
spikes.
signs, yeah.
There's coronavirus. Like we shouldn't, that's what's bothering me. And I said, Carly, it could be a car wreck. It could be kids get hurt. There could be 10 things that go wrong. Let's just go home.
Well,
Don't worry
like
about
I said
it.
to you, anything could happen at any time. But if you get a weird gut feeling, sometimes
trust
you
your
got to
gut.
go with that animal instinct.
Yeah.
You just got to, okay.
So that's what we did. Yeah. So we drove home. So then Friday by the time we got home, got everything packed. By the time I got the kids down, car unpacked, unloaded, everything. It was like midnight. So I called Carolyn in the morning and said, hey, we ended up not going to Utah. I'm going to come down and work. So came in on Friday, worked. And then Friday night, came home, made some hot dogs, and we just kind of chilled out. And I told Carly, hey, if you want to go camping, because she had said we could go camping on our drive back home from Utah. She's like, we take the kids up for the night. So I said, if you want to go camping, I can have the whole truck, the Suburban, ready to go. We've got everything basically packed. I just need to run to the store and get these few things. And we can do a quick impromptu camping trip.
Yeah.
So she said, oh, okay, let me just think about it. So then Saturday morning, she woke up and she's like, let's go camping. I said, all right, let's do it. So I spent that morning getting everything unpacked, checked, repacked, loaded into the Suburban. Went and got my list filled out of everything I needed. By 2:00, we were on the road, headed up past Idaho City up to Edna Creek. And Edna Creek is 51 miles away from Boise.
Yeah.
And it is on the stretch of highway that our very own Lumini has adopted.
Wow.
Very
nice. For the Adopt a Highway program. So found that out too on the drive, which I thought was pretty neat. So your dad's lacking and needs to get TRC, a highway program set up, Adopt a Highway, because your brother's already on it.
Man, he beat us to the punch.
But anyway, we drove up to Edna Creek and we hit a couple other campsites that were already reserved. Edna Creek was a first come, first serve. A lot of those were also first come, first serve. But if you get, you have like a month or two ahead, 6 to 8 weeks, you can reserve a spot at these campgrounds. Because we were going up night of, we were basically at the will of the gods and a first come, first served basis.
What you get's what you get.
Right. So we made it to Edna Creek. Last spot, number 9, was open. So we took it, unpacked, loaded everything, got our campsite built up. Gorgeous little campsite. Had the parking stall, had a little bridge to walk over the creek.
Wow.
Right? Very nice little bridge to the campground, or to our little spot, and then set up our tent. Set up, thankfully I had brought an umbrella because it was sunny and we had no shade on that spot.
Nice.
So I set up an umbrella that helped. Kids played, my kids aren't very smart and they step in water a lot. So, with their shoes and socks on.
Oh, good. That's always fun.
I was just saying,
my feet are wet.
Harsh.
Yeah. So we ran out of socks very fast, and shoes because they kept stepping in the dang creek with their shoes on. But, it worked out well. We took Watson with us. He's a great dog when we go camping because he just chills out.
Nice.
And it was good. None of us slept.
Oh.
My children do not know how to sleep in a tent with sleeping bags and an air mattress. They think that they need to sleep in our sleeping bag for some reason. So needless to say, Carly and I didn't sleep at all. And then if it wasn't the kids, it was the dog wanting to climb in bed with us, and I'm getting everybody out, and everybody just, okay. So we got up early in the morning. Everything was wet.
Oh.
It didn't rain. It was condensation. Remember when we were
dew.
in Monterey?
Got some dew, yeah.
That was the
It
ultimate.
was everything was soaked with this dew. All the chairs, like
Mountain Dew, baby, is what that
it was
is.
straight up Mountain
Carly's
Dew.
favorite.
Yeah.
So red.
all over everything. And so as soon as the sun came, I was going to start packing, but everything was soaked. Like I couldn't dry it off fast enough. So I said, we'll just wait till the sun breaks and hits this spot, and then we'll start packing. It'll dry up very fast. And it did. So we packed the campsite up, piled everybody back in the Suburban. Carly and I were running on soda, basically. Drive home's an hour, and not even an hour, about an hour and a half, really. Got home, took showers, all of us, because we all stunk and were dirty. Everyone used the restroom. Yeah, everybody used the restroom, and then we proceeded to wash everything. I unpacked the Suburban. Carly and I then took a nap, slept for a couple hours.
Make up for that lost time.
Kids were kind of just, you could tell they were tired, but they still had a lot of energy. And then last night we lit off fireworks because we didn't get a chance to light our fireworks because we went up into the mountains.
Yeah.
So whole
Don't
family.
be doing it there.
Yeah. So we all sat out front. Watson, my dog, is not scared of fireworks in the least bit.
Loves them.
And loves watching the fireworks go off. Sat there next to Carly, and we lit off fountains and sparklers and everything, and he just sat and chilled out. So didn't have any issues. Plus, last year with the big fireworks, he just hung out in his kennel and doesn't have a problem. As long as he's in his kennel, he's happy. But so I'm blessed to have a dog that is not terrified by fireworks.
Especially with like a corgi, you think it's going to be yapping about, but nothing. That's impressive.
He was very excited. He walked out with me to light the firework, and then he'd run back and sit next to Carly. And so, but all in all, really good time. It was actually the first camping trip we got to take with the Suburban.
Nice.
So that was very exciting because that was one of the things when I bought that from your parents, they told me, take your kids camping in it, please. So it was super fun to go do that with them. It was a very odd weekend, but a very easy to do weekend. And then, I've got this week, Carly and I's 15th anniversary.
Yes.
Been married for 15 years on Wednesday, which is coming up. And then Friday is Carly's birthday. So super excited, kind of terrified. Got to figure out what I need to get her. But I've got her a couple things already in the mail. So hopefully she'll like those. And then, we've got our crew from PNS coming this week. So the gang's going to be here. Keith, what we've heard is Keith, Chris Woolman, Kyle Clark, are all going to be here, help us do some videos and hang out with us. And so, you guys tune in for Thursday's Q&A because we'll have them in here with us. So I think you'll be really excited about that. And then, we got that going. The cruise next weekend. So next Saturday, we have the Hidden Springs cruise, which is now open to the public.
Wow.
So if you guys want to join us on that cruise,
Yeah.
we're going to be meeting at the football field up here, the Optimus football
Oh, yeah,
field.
the Optimus.
Yeah.
In the morning, and then at 9 a.m. heading up to Hidden Springs.
Wow.
And just cruise through Hidden Springs. And then the
Banging
PNS team
some
is going to be
gears.
handing out some goodie bags, some swag bags at the
Ooh.
very end.
Cool.
Wow.
So should be a fun
What kind
little
of-
Saturday
what kind
morning.
of performance machines should be involved in this kind of cruise?
I'm bringing the Ragnarok.
Wow.
And towing Green Bean with it.
Wow.
And I'm thinking about putting
Got
the
to
kids.
show off that
and
new
I'm
finish.
thinking about putting the kids in the back of Green Bean.
Yeah.
Now
They would
don't stand there, honey. You might
I,
get
I,
tetanus.
I say through Hidden Springs, like going,
Yeah.
5 miles an hour,
Yeah.
totally fine. Don't
5
put
miles.
them in
No.
the twisty turn.
No, I'll get them out. I'll pull over to the side and have them hop out and get back in the
There
Suburban
you
for the
go.
rest of the
Yeah.
mountain driving. But but
That's
right
what
before,
that mat is for.
yeah, but that's what I figured. We'll pull in before we get into Hidden Springs. It's going to be a bit of a slow down stop. Then it's like, okay, get out, hop in the trailer, and then we'll start going. So.
You know what you should
Kind of
do.
deal. Do you want to ride in the back?
Well,
You
I
can
was
come
going to
too.
say, if you go to a junkyard and you find some rear seats from an old Subaru Brat,
Yes.
you bolt them into the
Yeah,
base
there
of
you go.
the truck bed trailer, and
Those
you just
are plastic, and
you
they
fill
have,
it with plates.
They have
They got
handles.
handlebars.
Yeah.
Oh man, the kids would love that.
Oh yeah, they would.
I love
That's
it.
sweet.
All right, so that
So,
sounds like a plan.
that's it.
Dane,
Yeah,
you're going to have
we're
to
going.
wrap it up.
Okay, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure as always. Once again, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. If you're listening sometime in the future from when we record this, thank you for listening. Please, if you can, leave us a rating on iTunes or wherever you happen to listen to us. We really appreciate that, and it helps more people see the show. With that said, make sure you subscribe to the Rag Company Podcast YouTube channel, the Rag Company YouTube channel, and the all-new Rag Company FAQ channel, which
Check
I
it
think
out.
is probably one of the coolest, most helpful things we've ever done. It's really
We were
direct.
talking about making an FAQ on how to put on your socks.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
will answer
How to go on a
some
first date.
quote-unquote dumb questions just because everybody
and I are
learns
reenacting it.
at different rates. So we want to make sure we are covering our bases. So don't be afraid to shoot us some ideas for videos we can shoot in the future. All right. With that said, guys, till next time, adios.
See ya.
See ya.